What's going on, YouTube? Heylow here, bringing you another Total War Warhammer 2v2 matchup. So today we are going to be doing a wonderful match that Wick and I did where we have Dark Elves and Dawi. We were using my wonderful faction spin wheel in a quick battle, and we came up against Flying Taco and his buddy Oak, who are going to be also using the spin wheel, and yes, in quick battle. So it was really cool that we could get everyone to kind of agree to this gentleman's duel, but they ended up with vampire counts and Skaven. So let's get into the army compositions. So to start, we will go over my Dark Elves. So I have Marathi on foot, as well as some Sisters of Slaughter and Witch Elves throughout our lines, 2 and 2. And the back line, we have some Dread Spears, 3 units to support in case of rear charging. And we also have 2 Charybdis, so the double Charybdi or something. These beautiful, beautiful creatures. Absolutely wonderful beings. Oh, God, they're so gross. And then way out here on the flank, we're going to have 3 units of Dark Riders with shields just to chase down any skirmishers or harassers. So for Wicked over here with the Dawei, we have his line, and he is going to have some miners with blasting charges, Vanguard deployed up front. We're going to have the core of some Iron Breakers, Slayers, and Thunderers, as well as Bugman's Rangers. So a pretty diverse little group here. Iron Breakers spread out to provide some nice, beefy Dawei wall action to stop some charges, bog down infantry, Thunders, and the Bugman's Rangers in the back line to support with their skirmish fire. And he's got 2 cannons just kind of hanging out here by his Rune Lord and Runesmith, with Dragonback Slayers, Giant Slayers in the back line to chase down Large or Cav. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Well, let's hop on over to our very, very beautifully wide Skaven and Counts combo. So Counts over here, we have Heinrich Kemmler. He's going to be on foot. He's going to be supported by a Vargulf, a very, very wide line of Graveguard with great weapons, Crypt Ghouls, some Skeleton Spears, and some zombies. So a little bit of a diverse vampire line there, but covers most of the bases. Out here on the flank, we're going to have 2 units of Vargeist hanging out, floating over the woods, probably for some scouting. Look for anything chilling on the flanks. Over to the Skaven, we are going to be seeing a Warlock Engineer. We're going to have Skrulk. Backline, some Clan Rat Spears just to support, some Clan Rats with shields up front, back up the vampire line, and Assassin out on the flank. And then we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Plague Claw Catapults. 5 of them. Absolute, just crazy monsterness. And then over here, an extra Vargeist and a Terrorgeist as well to go and goon things. But yeah, that is going to be it. And let's get the ball rolling here. Alright, so right off the bat, we have taken the defensive position on this hill with the 2 cannons. And Wick is going to immediately start trying to focus down some Plague Claw Catapults, try and get rid of some of the artillery action that is going to be going on against us, because my oh my, is that a lot of potential damage that he has. All that, Jesus, the magic, ammunition, leadership, and AP debuffs as well. So a really nice shot going in there, doing some good damage. But our opponent here, Flying Taco, does drop the crew off the artillery. So he's going to be running out, just kind of trying to soak up some shots there without damaging the artillery piece. So very, very smart play there. Meanwhile, out here, our opponent for the Vampires is bringing his Terrorgeist and the Vargeist in around the flank to try and catch some of the Bugman's Rangers out. Thunderers are going to be dropping some nasty skirmish fire into these bad boys, and the Terrorgeist is coming in looking for its prey. So skirmishers are going to be doing their work, and we have the Dragonback Slayers, Witch Elves here to support as well, the Charybdis, and man, that is a lot of damage on those Vargeist, taking substantial fire. Iron Breakers dodging some of the Plague Claw shots, meanwhile trading out with other Plague Claw catapults from the cannons, and the Vargeist coming in to go after the cannons, but this is what the Witch Elves are for. So we move Marathi and the Witch Elves in, and they are going to get into the thick of things here and start doing some damage. Now, they're not exactly meant to deal with large, but Vargeist are low armor, and the Rampage mechanic from the Witch Elves kicks in, and that is going to spell their doom. They have no opportunity to fly back up and try and regen that health. They are absolutely dead. So they get very, very quickly butchered by the Giant Slayers and the Witch Elves. 2 more Vargeist coming in, watching their brethren get absolutely massacred down on the ground, and they're trying to go after this other cannon that is exposed at the moment. So seeing this, Dragonback Slayer is moving in to support, and I'm going to move my Witch Elves down to try and catch them. Meanwhile, opponent getting some really nice shots with the Iron Breakers, and way out here on the flank, the MVPs, the Dark Riders with shields, have gradually crept up behind this hill to go for a nice flanking position. Plague Claw Catapults looking a little bit exposed at the moment. Cannons doing their work on them, but our opponent doesn't really seem to have anything back there to support them. So Miners with Blasting Charges up front, getting run into by Crypt Ghouls. They got some nice damage in on them and some good shots. Meanwhile, Bugman's Rangers trying to dumpster some Graveguard with great weapons. Charybdis slowly moving up, waiting for a good opportunity to get into the thick of things. Witch Elves and Sisters of Slaughter supporting these Thunderers that are taking some damage. The Vargeist are rampaged, and they are going to be dead as well. Over here, more rampaged Vargeist. So yeah, Witch Elves are awesome in this combo. We wanted to see how that would work out, and it worked wonderfully for intercepting like monsters or air units that come down to try and get after your skirmishers and such. The Rampage is very, very dangerous for them. But over here, the Dark Riders come out of the woods, and they are hot on these Plague Claw Catapults, doing tons of damage right off the bat. Not an expensive unit, but they are going to be paying for themselves multiple times over, taking out all of this artillery. Substantial damage being done, disrupting that fire. So we've got one down already right there, and this one has taken tons and tons of health. So we're going to pull out of there with that Hell Pit, and our opponent's trying to get some Clan Rat Spears into support, but those guys are not very beefy units. Like, they've got the numbers, but their mass isn't very high. They're not really going to be able to catch Dark Riders or bog them down substantially, so we're just going to be running amok back here in the back lines, harassing that whole time. Meanwhile, in the infantry fight, Witch Elves going in and rampaging Crypt Ghouls, forcing them to stay in their engagements, doing a pretty substantial amount of damage. The Iron Breakers doing exactly what Iron Breakers do and just holding that line against the Chaff Infantry. Witch Elves here as well, taking out some Plague Monks, rampaging them. Morathi's going to go into support. Lord Skrull hanging out in the front line, trying to help push the line engagement a little bit more in their favor, but the Sisters of Slaughter are going to come in and start trying to bog him down. Some Plague Monk summons in the back line, but the Thunderers are right on top of that, doing some damage to them. Dread Spears coming in to try and protect this back pocket. Over here, Charybdis just kind of hanging out for right now. I'm not super worried about getting it into combat at the moment because I don't want to throw it into units and waste its HP. We're just going to kind of hang out, make sure that the cannons and our skirmishers are safe from this lingering Terrorgeist, and try and find a nice opportunity to catch him. We've got one on the left flank, tearing into some Crypt Ghouls. Sisters of Slaughter moving in to support all these Iron Breakers and absolutely dumpstering this Warlock Engineer. Absolute dumpstering. But meanwhile, in the back line, the Dark Riders with their shields coming through and just harassing all of these Plague Claw Catapults. We've managed to take one down, shatter it. We're taking another down, and it is wavering and almost dead. We've got one here that's supported by some Clan Rat Spears. Another one is bumped off of its artillery piece with only one piece left on both of these. So yeah, these Dark Riders are just sweeping across the back lines and doing a ton of damage. Very substantial. Very, very substantial gains and value out of these guys throughout this game. Just keeping half of this Skaven force back here, desperately trying to protect all the value that they put into these Plague Claw Catapults. But again, you can see we're coming in for another juicy charge on these poor artillery crewmen, and just straight into the thick of things, and absolutely trounced. So those guys are going to end up getting routed out, and in the back line here, we've managed to break down another Plague Claw Catapult crew, and we're coming into the back, trying to get some more opportunities there. What little shots are still coming in are doing some pretty good damage, though. Coming in on some Dragonback Slayers and the Sisters of Slaughter, picking up some value, but the Assassin is terrified out. Morathi's on pretty substantial health, and Heinrich over here gets caught up by some spears. And the Bugman's Rangers hanging out as well. Some Miners with Blasting Charges, and he's just kind of stuck in the middle of all of this. He's bogged down. Cannons over here still firing on all three guns with a decent amount of ammo left too. Charybdis here breaking out frontline units, and we just kind of are consolidating right now. Bugman's Rangers trying to pull out of combat, and we're going to send our Dread Spears into support. Out here, Dark Riders, having done as much damage as they have, are now going after this isolated Warlock Engineer and some Clan Rats. We're going to try and rout out those Crypt Ghouls, get a nice charge in on them, force them off the battlefield. This Hell Pit Abomination desperately trying to chase around all of these Dark Riders. and secure the back line, but they're starting to run out of steam. The troops are just not sturdy enough to contest with this front line that we have with the Witch Elves and Sisters. They are chewing through the Skaven infantry, and the Vampire infantry, unfortunately, is pretty much all but dead at this point, not able to hold up. Thunderers annihilating Heinrich on the flank. Terrorgeist taking some pretty substantial skirmish fire from the Bugman's Rangers. And Heinrich goes down. Oh my, the artillery just brutally annihilates him. And a Plague Claw shot comes in and just takes a nick out of my Dark Riders who are chasing off this assassin. Meanwhile, in the back line over here, we have a lone crew of Iron Breakers holding the line against all of these Clan Rat Spears. It's just brutal. Doombolt going down in the background. God, this game is gorgeous. The Spears trying their best to deal with all of this extremely high armor, high melee defense, Dawi infantry that we've got right here. But the Charybdis is coming in to support. A couple Sisters of Slaughter trying to chew their way through all this Skaven infantry. But that's just not happening. Blessed with Filth goes down, but they are routed out, and the Sisters and the Charybdis Marathi combo here are going to continue to trounce through all these Skaven slaves with the Rune Lord there to support. Out in the back line, the Dark Riders coming in to annihilate another Plague Claw crew that has tried to remount, and we're just going to continue to run around the back line and harass. Terrorgeist over here looking to get in on some Dark Riders, but unfortunately the leadership has tanked, and now the tide of Dawi and Dark Elves just swarming across the battlefield, cleaning up the lone survivors. This Vargulf, the last enemy standing, trying to chase down these Dark Riders, and we're going to turn about and do what little damage we can before it crumbles to bits. So yeah, great game, a lot of fun. Witch Elves and the Sisters of Slaughter paying for themselves in the frontline engagement, just absolutely annihilating a lot of this chaff infantry from the Skaven and the Vampires. But yeah, Dark Riders here, you don't see too much of a reflection of exactly what they did, but they helped to shut down a lot of these Plague Claw catapults. Between these three cavalry getting around that flank and sneaking into the back line, and Wick's two cannons picking up chevrons here and getting all those kills, taking out a lot of these artillery pieces, we were able to shut down all of that investment. And then all that's left is the Hell Pit back there, desperately trying to isolate those Dark Riders with some Clan Rat Spears, and all the rest of the infantry just melted in in the minor with Blasting Charge, Iron Breaker, Witch Elf Sister Slaughter combo. That's just way too much going on there for Clan Rats to try and cut through. Charybdis providing some really nice support there, warding off the Terrorgeist, keeping the large at bay, forcing them to stay away from our artillery pieces and skirmishers, and also helping in the end with all of that wonderful juicy fear and terror to force off some of the remaining infantry. But yeah, you can see the kills here. 136 on an Ironbreaker. Excellent work. 97 and 46 on the Bugmans. Chevron on the Thunderers, taking down some of those Vargeists, or Vargulfs. 2 on Giant Slayers, just picking up lots of HP damage on the Goon Squad that Oak brought in with all the Vargeists and the Terrorgeists. Yeah, they just were shut down completely by the Witch Elves. It was great. Worked very, very well for defending artillery pieces. But anyways, that is going to be it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. The game was a blast, and I just really wanted to showcase exactly what patience with some cavalry can do, even if it's cheap stuff. You wait and bait your opponent out and go after those cheap targets, and targets of opportunity are the key to victory. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you guys next time.